Good day, everyone. This is your Q&A Social Security Disability Today. I am your host, Attorney Anthony Reeves. Let's get to your question. When should I get a representative? That question comes up to me a lot. And typically, when somebody is searching, they'll say, when should I get a representative? And then this is what I tell people. You can get them anytime you want to. And unfortunately, it usually rubs people the wrong way when I say that. But let me explain to you what I mean. I always say, and I've addressed this on various other videos, that you don't need to have a representative through the process, meaning it's an informal process you can handle it on your own. However, the reality is you don't need to hire anybody to do anything for you in any venture. If your car breaks down, you don't need to hire a mechanic. If you have a toothache, you don't need to go to the dentist. The question is, do you know enough about cars to fix your car when it breaks down? The question you need to know is, do you know enough about teeth to fix the problem with your mouth? One of the greatest things that people always used to tell us when we were in law school is that an attorney who represents himself as a fool is a client. That's a phrase that basically means you don't know as much about your situation as you think you know. So then how can you effectively and objectively represent yourself? Let's be blunt. When you're representing yourself, and I'm just putting it out there, unless you do this on a regular basis, day in, day out, and you can read the regulations until you're blue in the face. And I've had people say, I've read and I'm up to speed. I'm like, okay. And a lot of times what happens is they don't know the nuances. And where are the nuances? The nuances are in the case law. The nuances are in the POMS, which is the Program Operation Manuals, or the HALACs. The nuances are in the Social Security rulings. The nuances are in the Confederate regulations and in the statutes. Now, it's 6 different areas. And the nuances are on practicing before various judges on a regular basis. Those are 7 different areas that the average person doesn't do on a regular basis. So you can read till you're blue in the face, but until you've had the opportunity of arguing and presenting these issues, and knowing how to strategically maneuver through various pitfalls here and there, you may not have a full appreciation of what you need going forward. Now when you're asking your question, well, when should you get one? First and foremost, remember this. It's based on you. If you think and you feel comfortable with handling it all the way to the hearing level or beyond, go for it. But just keep in mind, one attorney once told me, the further you go along, the more work I'm going to have to do to fix what you broke. And that's not trying to be disrespectful, but the reality is that when you come to a representative, there are going to be certain things they're going to advise you to do along the way in terms of medical treatment, going back and forth, doing the things that you need to do so that when they get to the point where they have to argue before a judge, your case is at a satisfactory level. There are some representatives that have strategic things in mind. They would prefer that Social Security goes through their law office. They would prefer that they have you sent to certain doctors for CEs as opposed to other doctors for CEs. But the thing is when I say CEs, I mean consultative evaluation. But the thing is, you don't know about those things when you're handling them yourself. So it really depends on you. When you have a comfort level in terms of what you want to have done for you at that particular point. When you're looking for a representative, you need to ask yourself what is important for you in terms of how far you want the process to go. Let me throw this out there. There are some, in Social Security is one of those few areas where where persons can be represented by both attorneys and non-attorney representatives. Recognize when I tell you that there are a lot of great non-attorney reps who do just as great of a job as attorneys and vice versa. So don't feel that if you don't get someone who is an attorney and you get a non-attorney rep, you're getting a bad shape, because there's some great non-attorney reps out there. A lot of them have worked for Social Security before, worked in the industry, so they're very familiar with it. Only downside is that most of them, because they're not attorneys, can't represent you in federal court. So if your desire is to go above and beyond federal court, go above Social Security and into federal court, you want to make sure you ask early on, do you have the ability to sue in federal court so that if this thing doesn't go the distance, we can take it there? Some of them have relationships with firms who take it into federal court, and don't sleep. There are some attorneys who don't go into federal court. So don't think just because the person is a non-attorney rep that maybe they don't have a relationship with someone who can take your case into federal court for you. So ultimately, at the end of the day, this is what I tell people when they're looking or thinking about hiring a representative. It really is based on you. How much do you want to do on your own, and how comfortable are you with going the different distance, and what do you want to have done on your behalf? If you want to do it on your behalf, knock yourself out. Let me tell you what most people do, and this is just the hardcore reality of it. Most people are struggling for money, so they're trying to keep as much of their money as possible, so they really are not comfortable hiring an attorney, even though the regulation sets our fees very low. It's only 25% of your past due benefits, or $6,000, whichever is less when it's the first time up. And if it goes beyond the hearing and comes back, it never goes beyond 25%. But the reality is that most people they're trying to hold on to every piece and every dollar they can hold on to, so they don't want to let their money go out when they possibly can. Don't look at it like this, because let me be blunt. If a representative can help shore up your case for you in the early parts of the process and help you identify those warts, it's so much more to your advantage than trying to save a few dollars and try to muddle through it, hoping for a good outcome. So keep those thoughts in your mind. All right, when we come right back, I will bring you up to date with what our next topic will be on Q&A Social Security Disability Today. Would you like to hang out with me and get your Social Security disability questions answered live? Please feel free to send an email to legalgold@zoho.com and put Hangout in the subject line. Make sure you indicate what day and time is good for you to schedule a Google Hangout. Again, send an email to legalgold@zoho.com. Let's hang out and get those disability questions answered. On our next Q&A Social Security Disability Today, we're going to talk about what you should do if you think your disability case is about to be reviewed. Make sure you want to check that video out. I think it's going to have a lot of good information. Again, my name is Attorney Anthony Reeves, and this is your Q&A Social Security Disability Today.